Hello. Oh, good. Looks like the mic's working today. Always a 50-50 shot, I guess. Anyways, I am just finishing setting up. Hey, kitty! Welcome. It's good to see you. How are you doing today? Good to see you too. It's been far too long. Yeah, I agree. You're tired and working, but good. How about you? Very similar. I'm tired and um working a lot as well. I just what's it called? Um I just got off of work and now I'm streaming. So, you know. But, I'm glad to be streaming, glad to be painting. There we go. I'm glad someone showed up to hang out and chat. It's always good. I'm experimenting with new camera positions, so we'll see how it goes today. I did not cut my hair. No, not at all. Still very, very long. The beard's a lot shorter, and the beard's actually going to be going away soon. Again, I every time I fly somewhere, I shave it off. Um, but then I bring it back. Yeah, yeah, it's just the camera angle. Make sure this is focused. There we go. Yes. So yeah, um, yeah, I shaved the beard because of the masks. I want to have a effective seal. You've been flying way too much lately. Yeah, flying is rough in general. But if you're taking COVID precautions, it's even more. Um, when I was flying to Israel to visit my mom, I wore a mask on the way there and on the way back, and that, oh my God, that is a lot. Because the whole trip's like a 24-hour ordeal. The flights themselves are like 22 hours or something like that, plus airport time. It's a lot. This time I'm next week I'm going to the East Coast for a short trip. But I'm going to go see my grandma who is 95 years old. I will be taking COVID precautions because I don't want to be bringing anything to her. um, so I will take extra precautions, which, you know, does kind of suck. Between COVID precautions, layovers, and delayed flights, it's just so, oh yeah, you completely relate. Yeah, I do too. I agree. It is. I mean, and flying has never been, you know, well, maybe not never, but in modern time, flying isn't great unless you're rich. I will say this, um, so like not I don't know if last time I flew, but a couple times before, I had the problem where my knees, even if I was sitting like just completely straight, my knees were like jamming into the seat in front of me. No matter what I did, like I couldn't not jam my knees. Um, I think they actually added a slight amount of space because this time my knees weren't jamming into the chair in front of me, but I think they took away some of the size on the width. So now my shoulders are in the seats next to me. So I'm just like, if it's not one thing, it's another. You sit in the emergency exit row, there's more legroom, usually, but they also will charge you more for that in some, some flights, some things. Oh, it's on a your second flight is on a teeny plane with teeny seats. Yeah, I'm probably going to be taking one of those too soon. I've had that. It's pretty funny. I've had that where you get into a plane and it's like, okay, so this plane is propellers, uses propellers, and I can touch, both opposing windows at the same time if I put my arms out. This feels safe. Sure, it's fine, but it's funny. So this painting's coming along pretty well as far as like completion amount. Um, but I did mention this last stream. I could tell that some aspects were drifting, which is very common in my painting process. So just gonna go through and mark up some spots so I know where to fix. Well, not the smallest plane you've been on. You're pretty small, like 5'5", and can't stand up fully in it. Oh yeah, yeah. I've been on those. Um, yeah. I'm not the tallest guy in the world either. Like I'm 6 foot, but still, I feel like I don't know. I must occupy a large space, larger than I actually need. So both height and width wise, because every time I go into anything, I'm just like it always feels very small and crammed to me. When when I go to IKEA, um, they have their what's it called? They have their section with all the oh, what's it called? All the couches, and I feel like a giant, like King Kong or something, like these little itty bitty couches that are all like ankle height, and I'm just like walking through IKEA like some kind of monster. I think it's kind of funny. I probably should have done a different painting today. This one is parts of it are dry, parts of it are uh, still tacky, and so I can't oil out, but that's causing some issues. I can get around it. I just part of me thinks I should have done something today. Hey Cody, welcome. Good to see you. How you doing today? I am fixing all the areas that drifted right now, or marking them for to be fixed. You got lots of painting in earlier? Nice. Kitty, you often feel the same way? That's funny. Yeah, I think I think you're right. It is just part of the design aspect too. I was debating today if I was going to paint this or something else. I I was really tempted to do a stream where I paint Nicholas Uribe like everyone else did. Everyone else, all the people from OPL did. Um, was tempted, but I decided not to, and now I'm slightly regretting my decision. Kitty, you finally got new couches, and oh my god, that. Hold on a second. I cannot see what it says. How do I get rid of this stupid thing? I wish I could get rid of. I don't know how to get rid of this stupid heart thing. It's really annoying. Oh my god, that hunt was rough, but you found the most gorgeous ones finally. That's great. Okay, I'll try this, see if this solves the problem. Uh, Cody says, I missed what you said. Why were you thinking of doing a different painting besides the tacky areas? The tacky areas are the main. No, the tacky areas are why I'm regretting not doing another painting. The um the thought process was I was tempted to do that same portrait of Nicholas Uribe for fun. Just, basically just for fun. Um Anyone who doesn't know, Nicholas Uribe is a oil painter. I talk about him a lot because I really like him. Um, he has a YouTube channel called OPL, Our Painted Lives. Him and his partner Danny, and he was on a YouTube channel slash podcast where they kind of interviewed him, and then also they they drew him, and then a bunch of other people drew him as well based off of the photo reference he provided. It was called something and Sarah, but I'm blanking on their name, and I feel really bad for blanking on the YouTube channel's name. Um, anyways, so I was tempted to do a painting of Nicholas Uribe because a bunch of people I follow did it as well. So I was tempted to do it. Dylan Sarah, thank you. Yes. Um, so like I said, I was tempted to do it as well, but I really want to focus on um, finishing this piece, and just in general, I want to focus on like my work versus like, fun stuff kind of thing. That makes sense. So that's why, but like I said, part of me is regretting it because it's some of it is tacky and that makes life difficult. For anyone curious, by the way, Kitty, who's in chat right now, well, actually, I won't show that, but I did a painting of her once. I know her from when I used to stream on Twitch. So one of the people who I got to know from that community, which was a great community. I highly recommend a lot of streamers on Twitch. So obviously on YouTube as well, but yeah. Dylan, Sarah, and Shannon Hager. Yeah. I'm not sure about the last names either, but I think the channel is Dylan Sarah, if I'm not mistaken. That's what I cared. I wanted to make sure I got the channel name right. Ah, this one's really out of place. So, when in my painting process, in my current painting process, it is a very kind of messy process on purpose. Um, and I do appreciate the results that I get from it. However, it does have its disadvantages. I've yet to figure out how to um prevent things from like drifting around as I paint. And I'm not sure there is. I mean, I guess I'll get better at preventing it over time, possibly. But yeah, I'm not sure it's a entirely preventable aspect of the process. And in case anyone's curious, I am using uh, technology to help me um, find a placement. It's just so much easier to do it this way. Um, Not exactly a good crutch to develop necessarily, but um, definitely quicker and easier. And I'm not too worried about developing it as a crutch. Part of the reason I'm not too worried about that is because I've done a ton of figure drawing and stuff like that. But also, I try to use it to help me, so I try and evaluate what needs adjustment. And then when I go look at it, I can see if I can confirm, whether or not like my eye was accurate. And I think that's actually very helpful. Hey Laura, welcome. How are you doing today? Hope you're having a good day today. Don Lee, hey, good to see you. So I'm going to repeat myself since I'm not sure when some people came in. I am just marking down areas where the painting has drifted away from the reference. Um, I don't necessarily mind inaccuracies occasionally. It's not the worst thing in the world. It's more an issue of, um, but you know, I want to have the choice more than um, do it by mistake kind of thing, generally speaking. Also, a lot of times the what's it called um, an inaccuracy in one area can cause you to see something else incorrectly. So it can have a cascading effect. So it's worth keeping an eye on that. Um, Laura says, lazy day like usual. You did make a stew and biscuits and played video games. That sounds awesome. Sounds like a great day. Um, what video games? Out of curiosity. You don't have to share. Sharing is optional. World of Warcraft. That's right. Okay, you're a WoW player. Okay. Try and keep that in my head. Yeah. I have a few friends who are WoW players. My girlfriend and some of her friends. I uh I said this before, I never got into it, uh but yeah. Hey Donley, your stream was on a 5 minute delay again. That is one of the disadvantages of YouTube. It's an advantage too. You don't get why YouTube does that. I I don't feel like it generally does that. That rarely happens to me. Um, if I'm being honest. So, I don't know. That is super annoying though, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I've definitely had it happen to me occasionally, but it's not I wouldn't say that it happens to me regularly, like occasionally. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe it could be something with your app I don't know. Your silly Raven comment? I don't think I saw it. Yeah, Donley, I don't think it went through. That might have been the problem. Man, YouTube just does not agree with Don Lee. It was your first comment tonight. Your first comment tonight uh is to Kitty saying hi. At least that's the first comment I see. Shadow bands. Yeah. It's not even me, it's the like auto mod is just like, oh, this guy, we've heard of him. Shadow ban. Okay, you'll repost it. Good. It did not post. What are you posting, my man? Let me see if I can see the moderation real quick because it's weird. Let's see. Okay, moderation will be shown. All right, try it one more time so I can see if it comes up. Because I don't see anything. Maybe, maybe. Um, uh, Laura says if you mention another social platform, it won't show up. It won't show often. I have not had that be an issue personally, but maybe. I think it might be the asterisks that it's not liking. Um, that might be it. It might think it's like a link or something. I don't know. Cody says, haha, now it's being built up into a big thing. Yeah, seriously. Okay, you posted it again. Can I see it now? Um, Literally, I cannot. I don't even see it in the like moderation. I don't see it anything. Uh, I don't know. That is weird. I swear I'm going to get an email from YouTube like, is this man harassing you? It's like just targeting Don Lee. uh, I don't know, man. I mean, obviously most of your chat goes through, but it must be something about that particular thing that you're posting that it's, I don't know, it's flagging for some reason. Obviously, I can, see most of your chat because we're, talking. Um, yeah, I don't know. Man, this dude's got some big hands. Like, normally, my tendency is to, draw hands slightly too large because they're hard and you want the extra space, for detail and stuff. This dude's hands are huge compared to his, like his face. Yeah. A funny story. When I was a child, this is true. When I was a kid, I displayed some characteristics that concerned my kindergarten teacher, and so they had me go for an evaluation, and everything was fine. To clarify, the issue was they I was drawing people with like really large hands, and everything was in black. Everything was just black. Um, and I guess those are like warning signs, or at least when I was a kid, those were warning signs. Um, but the reason I drew everyone with big hands was because I was drawing with crayons, and good luck getting 5 fingers in a drawing unless you go really large. Uh, and black was my favorite color because, and I quote, it has all the colors in it, which is not entirely accurate because if you mix all your colors, you'll get mostly mud and not black, but whatever. As a kid. Yes, drawing big hands is a huge red flag. It is, unless you're trying to get 5 fingers with big chunky crayons, in which case you can't do it. uh, so, you know, just one of those things. I would have been way more worried about the decapitated people in all the drawings, but apparently that's just normal. I don't know. Okay, I tried it again and got rid of some of the joke wording. Didn't show up though, huh? Yeah, no, Don Lee, absolutely not. Only young artists and psychopaths. Cody says, yeah, right? Seriously. Mm, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's hilarious, but you know. Oh man, as a kid, I was all over the crayon sharpener. Yeah, yeah, I can see that. I feel that. I think it was if, these were like school crayons and those are not usually in the best condition, you know. So, like the boxes usually are missing colors and so on. Kind of a, issue. You'll give up on your dumb Uribe joke? I'm sorry, man. I don't know what it is about that. It clearly has an issue. I don't know. I will say this. I don't I feel like the moderation tools on YouTube are slightly less comprehensive. Um or they might be just as comprehensive. I just don't know where they are located. So like I don't know how to use them as well. Or I need to install something. I don't know. Like I don't know if I need to install like Nightbot or something like that. I I'm kind of doing this the dumb way, where it's just like I don't care. I'm just not dealing with that. And unless I get like spam attacked by something, I don't think I'll have too much trouble moderating it on my own as is. So, so as far as the paintings going, I am Cody, you're definitely someone to talk to about this in general, because you teach art. But yeah, I find that my paintings, as I go through them, drift over time. Like, parts of the painting will drift around a little bit. And I was saying, so what I'm doing right now is I'm just going through and correcting all the places, like marking down things so I know where to correct it. I was saying I don't know necessarily that there's a solution for that. Like I don't, other than like get good, but I mean like it's just kind of part of the process. So I just kind of live with it and be like, all right, I'll just, you know, go in and fix it occasionally. Drift away from the initial sketch. Dunley asks, so sorta, yeah, from the reference material and from the sketch. It's if you watch my process, you'll see that my sketch is really, how can I put this? Very rough. It is not, I don't go into much detail, and then I mess it up and I go back in and draw it all again. And so it, I don't like, it's not a very tight drawing to begin with. And I purposefully mess up my painting multiple times, which causes things to kind of drift out of place a little. Usually it's in faces a lot because they're so precise. But like his shoulder, for instance, went a little further than it's supposed to be. Now, I don't mind pushing proportions and stuff like that, but that's something I'd want to do on purpose, not like by accident. But yeah, that's basically what happens. It just kind of shifts throughout the process. If I did like a really tight drawing beforehand, I suspect this would happen a lot less. But I don't want to do that. And the reason I don't want to do that, in case anyone's curious, is one, I'm not good at it in the sense that like I tend to um I'm good with the drawing. I just tend to like I have a trouble staying inside the lines, I guess. Um and it makes me tighten up a lot, and then I feel like my paintings are less expressive, in general. So I rather deal with the fact that they drift and just um, you know, go in and fix it all the time. But it can be frustrating for sure. I will say also the drifting gives you landmarks for correcting the drifting. So there is a benefit to it too, in a way. You did a tighter sketch on your last acrylic and did a wash to help you build it up, but you were scared to go free, like what I did. Well, okay, first of all, different mediums, have different aspects to them. Um, since acrylic dries so fast, I can see that being very, you know, being more difficult to do. Um, but yeah, it's just one of those things that I know I'm going to have to do. Like as I paint, I am going to have to go in and fix it, sometimes multiple times. Hopefully, this will actually be the last time I have to on this one, because I've been able to I've been able to keep most of it pretty pretty close. Like if you see the things I'm doing right now, it's not huge. It's pretty subtle. And it is stuff that I could possibly fix. I could fix if I freehanded it, but it's definitely easier to just load it up into the computer, overlay it, and just do it that way. Good point about accommodating for the fast drying acrylic versus oil. Oh, for sure. And not only that, acrylic isn't as good at covering up um either. Um at least that's my experience and understanding of acrylic. So acrylic is a what is it? It's a synthetic polymer. It's a basically a plastic, and or at least that's how it's been described to me. And because of the whatever the polymer is, it actually has a limit to the amount of pigment it can contain. So the pigment load is there's a cap on the pigment load in acrylic paints, which make them generally more transparent. Um, Oil paints probably have a cap as far as like, how can I put this? As far as being like comfortable to use, but they don't technically have a cap. It's just it's a, comfort thing. Like if it's, if it's too dry, it's unusable, but it still qualifies. That's how it was described to me. I wish I understood all the science that goes into how how paints and all this stuff works. You know, it's um it's very interesting. Like one of the things that has come up in the past. So there's oh, what is it called now? I'm blanking on the name. Alkyds, right? Um so like liquid or alkyd paint. They're alkyds or synthetic polymers or whatever. And I'm like, that's cool, but what exactly does that mean? And it's one of those things that when I try and research it, that they just end up describing the thing with the thing. So it's like, yeah, that's not really helpful to me because I don't know what the thing is. So you telling me that, oh, it's alkyds are a synthetic polymer. I'm like, okay, that's cool. What does that mean? So I think what I'm getting at is I'm not that bright, apparently. That's the takeaway. Um, but yeah, it's interesting. There's a lot of interesting chemistry that goes into it all, most of which I don't entirely understand. On a different note, still painting related, I'm excited. I just spent a ton of money. Ton might be an exaggeration, but I spent a bit of money on new brushes, which will be arriving uh, next week, but I won't be able to use them until like 2 weeks from then. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's been a long time since I got some new brushes. I'm excited. What did I get? I got a variety of um Rosemary and Co brushes, which are have a reputation for being some of the best oil painting, well, some of the best brushes in general. So I only bought synthetic brushes, of course, and because anyone who doesn't know, I'm vegan and will not buy brushes made made of animal product. So only synthetics. Um, but I got a variety. I got like a large, medium, and small of like there's three major synthetic oil brushes, and then I also got another like a comber brush, a comber. I don't know how you pronounce it, like a comber brush. I've never used one before, so I wanted to give that a try. Um, yeah, all flats. I got like the flats extra long for the most part. Um, once again, I've never had those, but I feel like my brushes, if I can show here, um, they will eventually splay, but they splay more when you get stuff in the ferrule, I think it's called. Um, so I figured if they're extra long, right, less stuff will get in. I don't know. Um, you're an affiliate with them now, so next time let me know and I can give you a. Dude, I wish I'd known. I totally would have done that. Absolutely. I will absolutely uh hit you up for that. Yeah, I bought them from my what's it called? There's a reseller here in Texas. Um so I should get them by Friday or Saturday or something. But I'm probably not going to use them until like a week or two after I get them, or because I'm going on a trip and I don't want to start using them and then have to clean them. But yeah, that's super cool that you're a affiliate with them. All right, I think I got all the like big landmarks in, but almost. Yeah. Think that's pretty good. Or I could become an affiliate too. I don't know how that works. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how that works. I don't think I have the clout or the following or the audience to do that, but like sure, I'd be down for that. the applications on their website, and you could just say that you have a YouTube channel and you use their brushes. That's pretty much it. Okay, cool. I'm trying to get companies to sponsor OPL. You told them you run a school and use their brushes, recommended their brushes to your students. Yeah, that makes sense. That's cool. Yeah, I'm trying to get I wish I could get companies to sponsor OPL. They could send them, paint and stuff so they wouldn't have to worry about it. Don't get me wrong, I'll take sponsorships too. I just I know I don't have the subscriber base to, pull that off yet. There's I don't know why this came up, but there's this guy on YouTube, is it Sway? I think it might be Sway. I might be getting his name wrong. He um he has a studio in New York, and he turned his studio into like a Sway Art. No, oh no, okay. Sway Art does comics. You're right. I like Sway. I know Sway from online. I got them confused. Darn. I can't remember the name of this guy. I'll find it. I have it on a list somewhere. Um and what's it called? He has an art studio in New York, and he turned his studio, or opened up his studio for students, and he turned it into a nonprofit, what's it called? Like a nonprofit community thing. So people can go there for free to do figure drawing, and he provides the materials and all kinds of stuff like that. I thought that was super cool. The sponsorship idea just kind of, I think, sparked that. But yeah, no, Sway's a great comic book artist. I like him a lot. Yeah, so Cody says we do group orders to save on shipping, so we do big orders every once in a while, even though each person might only get a few brushes. That's cool. Yeah, so the shipping was free, I think, because I came out to like 120 bucks. Um, but you know, the brushes are slightly more expensive, so you know, it's a bit of a give and take kind of thing. Yeah, so at the moment I have the overlay on. And just get rid of that so I can see the reference photo. I know some of it like drifted and all that, but it's getting there. Getting close. I often struggle at this stage of painting, um, personally, because I get to the point where I just feel like I'm running out of steam. And so I just want to be kind of done with the painting. I'm losing, you know, losing a bit of energy and patience. I suspect this is possibly an ADHD thing. But yeah, I get to this stage on a lot of paintings where I'm just like, okay, I just want to be done with it at this point. Could be just an art thing, like maybe a lot of artists experience that. I don't know. I know a lot of artists start new projects, so maybe it's just an artist thing. Do you think you would be done with it if you weren't streaming the process, like chat slowing you down? I'm sure. I for sure get that burnout after 4 sittings. It's really specific. That's funny. Yeah. Definitely. Chat is definitely like the process of streaming. Not just chat, just the whole process of streaming. It definitely slowing me down, without a doubt. Um, yeah, but it's not just streaming. My in the last whatever 2 weeks or whatever, my work schedule has made things hard on me as well. Plus, I wasn't feeling well. Like I had what's it called? I had food poisoning, and I also went in for another treatment that didn't agree with me. So and my neck has been like severely messed up. So I've had a bunch of things that have been slowing me down a lot in addition, but streaming definitely slows me down. I'm also not always at my best on these evening uh, painting sessions because, after a 9 hour day, with lunch, I'm not at tip top condition. Like I'm just not. So, so yeah. Especially with a painting this small. I mean, this is what is this? I think it's a 9 by 12. It's not a big painting. Usually I'd be done by now. Not that size is the only dictator of that, but actually when it gets very small, it actually gets slower as well. But yeah. Um, yeah, chat and then constantly looking to make sure that, I am in in the right place, making sure camera's focused, that anytime I get alerts that there's something wrong with stream, I have to, pay attention. Just all these little things. What I'll probably end up doing is, if everything goes as planned, today is the last day I will work on this painting on stream. And I will have it pretty much like 95% done. And the only thing that will be left is to like get in those like real small details that require me to get like right up on the painting. Huh. Well, that's fun. Chat didn't catch up for a second. Okay. Oh, that stinks getting tired of it when you're that far along. Donnelly says is saying that you only had you've had that before, but usually you get fired up when you can see the goal close at hand. I think concepting uh concepting where I want to go with a piece can wear me out. Yeah. Cody says maybe down the road you can hire a Danny. Yeah. I actually looked into not hiring someone, but I looked into speech to text. Don Lee actually had the idea, so I was like, oh, let's see how could I do that? And it's possible. It's a bit of a headache though, to set up. So we'll see. It's one of those things where it's like maybe, but well, probably not. Just because of the pain in the butt aspect of it. Unless unless I start doing this enough to warrant paying for um a service, because there is a service that will do it and you can pay for it, and it also has other um other capabilities that could be beneficial for streaming, but it's like I think $20 a month. I can't imagine my live streams, being worth it kind of. But yeah, Don Lee, I think the issue is once I get to this stage of the painting, I'm like I can kind of see the end already. So now it's more like going through the motions versus like how can I put this? Like I can already see the end. I know where it's going. I know what's going to happen, roughly like I've got it now. It's all good. And so it's not as interesting anymore to me personally. So I'm just like, oh, okay, well, um, you know, I guess I'll just go through the motions and finish it. Whereas in the earlier stages, there's more possibilities and it's also kind of more of a challenge in a way. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah. Cody says, got a jet. Sorry, talk to you all later. No worries, man. Have a good night. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate the company. Aaron Blaze has someone read it for him, maybe his son, and David Fitch has his wife read chat for him. That's cool. I don't think I've seen David Fitch stream. Um, I haven't really watched Aaron Blaze stream either, to be honest. I like Aaron Blaze, I just haven't watched him stream. I'll be honest, ideally, um, what I think what I would like to do is I would like to have uh David Fitch streams on YouTube. Okay, cool. I'll have to look for it. Um, yeah, ideally, I would like to have my stream be kind of I guess to me, I'm thinking kind of like an open studio day. So it'll be, it'd be like whatever day I'm like working in the studio and it's an open day, just turn on the computer, you know, set stream on, and then just work kind of thing. Oh, hold on a second, be right back. Okay, back. Um, so yeah, um, so my idea was I would love to have like studio days and have it kind of be like an open studio thing. Um, but it's a little more difficult with work to pull that off. It would, unless I did it like on a weekend. It's also like, I guess, like I get tired after a few hours, so I don't know exactly how I would manage that aspect of it. Be like an all day thing. I don't know. It's something I have bouncing around in my head. I'm not sure how to implement it, but yeah. Give me for a second. I have to make sure I didn't get paint on the door real quick. All right. Yep. Just a little smudge. David Fitch, David Finch. I'm thinking of two different artists when I think David Finch. There's a what's it called? Um, there's a comic book artist, David Finch, and I think that there's a oil painter as well. Which one streams? Or maybe maybe I'm getting their names slightly wrong, but yeah. David Finch, comic artist. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I didn't know he streamed. That's cool. It, I'll have to go looking for his stream because he's a good artist. Donley, I will check out um your messages later if that's cool, unless it's needs to happen now. He has some good tutorials for aspiring figure artists, especially those wanting to do comics, of course. Ah, that's awesome. That's great. And yeah, I bet. Um, I know Pinky was never a huge fan of Proco, but I haven't taken any of Proco's classes, but all the stuff I've seen of his looks really good. Okay, the messages were for later. Got it. All right, cool. But yeah, Proco has some. I think a lot of Proco's tutorials are paid, but you have to pay to get access to them. But it's good stuff. Also, for anyone who wants to get into digital, there is Brad Kobo. He does he has a YouTube channel and he reviews tech for art. But he has like two drawing courses. They're it's much more cartoony. Um but at the same time I think he covers a lot more of the like digital aspects of it too. So it's kind of a mix of drawing and learning how to use the digital tools. Don Lee says loves his tutorials. I don't know. I'm assuming you're referring to Proco just because of the time. So I assume you mean Proco. Although I think Brad's pretty good. Oh no, that did actually come out. One of your streams emotes is Proco. Uh, right. That did come out. Sorry, I was trying to stay on topic a little, so I didn't address that. But that's cool. Sorry, YouTube has me paranoid now. If my comments are coming through or not. LOL. Yeah. Oh, you're all good, man. Don't worry about it. And I get that. It's been it's been doing you wrong, so I totally get that. Which at least gives you a heads up if your message wasn't seen. Yeah, that's the funny thing. I wonder if it's a platform thing because when I'm on YouTube, when I send a message that gets moderated, it notifies me like as a viewer. Like I've sent some things and it misinterpreted it and flagged it for stupid reasons, or I sent a link and links aren't allowed in most chats. And it notified me, so I don't know if it's a platform issue. I was on desktop at the time, so I don't know. I mean, if YouTube ends up being too much of a hassle, eventually I will I'll go back to Twitch if it ends up being an issue. Although I don't feel like it's quite there yet. Like every platform I think has, you know, hiccups and issues. Um, One of the main things that I like about it is I think that there's less and less intrusive ads on YouTube streaming, at least for now. So um, that is definitely worthwhile for me. Like I rather make almost nothing from the stream and have less ads. Because I made almost nothing on the stream from the stream anyways on Twitch. But their ads I feel like are very intrusive. But I pay for YouTube Premium, so I don't really see ads. So if the ads are super intrusive on YouTube, by all means, let me know so that I'm aware. It, I mean, the issues seem, Conley says that the issues seem pretty minor so far. I'm not sure, maybe you have better chance of getting viewers with YouTube. No, I mean, I don't necessarily think so. I think how can I I think I think as far as viewers go, like I don't think I don't think either platform is going to help me get viewers that much, especially from live streaming. Um, Twitch probably has better auto like discovery type of thing. Just because like people are, you know, expecting to find live streams on Twitch more than on YouTube. Um, but if I can start making shorts and um, you know, I can start doing actual videos, I think that'll be a different thing. Now that you mention it, I don't think I've seen any ads. Yeah, I think they may pop up occasionally, like on the like bottom kind of thing, but it doesn't like stop the broadcast. And that alone is like worth it for me. So we'll see. Um, I think part of it is it kind of depends what you want to get out of things, you know? Like a lot you want to be a you want to be a streamer and want to make money as a streamer. I think Twitch is better, but I'm not those aren't my expectations here. Um, you know, yeah, that is one of the things that like killed me on Twitch is the pre-roll ad that they would have. That oh my God, that killed me on Twitch. The um like more than anything, I hated that. If anyone's not familiar, when you'd go to a new channel on Twitch, it would auto play a commercial or a couple commercials as like a 30-second commercial or something. So you'd see a channel that looked interesting, click on it, and then instead of seeing it, you'd get an ad or two. And the the click rate through that is very low. Like a lot of people will just they won't stay until the end. They'll just move on to something else. Even I did that to a lot of people because I don't know what it is. It's just like, okay, I don't want to really see this right now, so just move on to something else. I'm actually uh, surprised I was so accurate with the dog. I mean, obviously, there are some things I'm correcting here, but still, like, I will take this as a win. as being accurate enough. Just checking, nothing important. Got some notifications. Mm, Up's looking good. Thank you. I'm glad it's you know, conveying uppers properly. Oh, here's something unrelated. Um, but if anyone's a coffee drinker, um, and I know a lot of artists are, I mention it. I found a new coffee sweetener that I like, and it doesn't use the sucralose stuff. So, um, obviously, I am not, a food scientist and cannot endorse anything properly. But supposedly, it's better because it doesn't use the sucralose stuff or the aspartame stuff, but instead uses stevia. And it's pretty good. So just so you know, they have those now because they didn't for a long time. So I know, completely random, but yeah, I was surprised. It's a little squeezy bottle, got like a you know flavoring to it and stevia. So nice. I just got it in today and tried it out for the first time, and it's pleasantly, uh, you know, surprised. I guess would be the word. I'm a big coffee drinker though, so man, this leg is the thing that got messed up the most, I think, as far as like position wise. Uh, oh, another question for chat. Um, I moved the this camera a little before it was over there where like the chat window itself is, and now it's slightly closer to the painting itself, and I'm curious if this matters to anyone in the slightest. If anyone has an opinion or dislikes or likes whatever, whatever. And if not, that's fine too. Like I don't think that my face cam window is the most important. So, but I guess the thing is when it's where the chat window is, it looks more like I'm looking at chat when I'm reading chat versus now when I'm reading chat, you guys are over there. I don't know. For anyone watching, by the way, Donley streams on Twitch. I didn't mention it. And he does a lot of pet portraits, so I take that compliment to heart, because he knows what he's talking about. Yeah, Don Leo on Donley_O with 3 O's, OOOH. Or is it OHHH? I think it's OHHH. Yep, OHHH. So O with 3 H's. Yeah. It's more positioning, less the size, more just positioning. I didn't edit the actual size of it. I enlarged everything else so the actual uh, so I enlarged the painting so it takes up more of the palette now. There is that to it. And that will always be something that changes over time because this is a small painting, but I'm planning on doing larger paintings. So the aspect ratio of the, you know, of the canvas and the painting and everything will always change. That stuff will be a little fluid. You pulled up previous screen cap to see what it was before. Yeah. So there was a couple times where it was on an arm and it was like sitting closer to me, so my head was a lot closer in it. And then there were times where it was further back. Yeah. So one of the things I do sometimes is when I'm looking at shadows, stuff like that, my brain will say and tell me that what I'm looking at is blue or green or something. And I'm like, I know it's not. I mean, obviously, sometimes it is. It kind of depends. But a lot of times it's not. And I know that it's just my brain doing that. Like, because when I isolate the color, it's usually like a desaturated, darker version of whatever it uh is, mostly in like skin tones that I'm thinking on people. But not only. So my brain's like, okay, this is clearly this. And I'm like, no, I know it's not, because when I isolate the color, it's kind of a gray or like a desaturated brown or purple or whatever. But yeah. So what I often will do is I will mix up the color that like my brain is telling me it is, and I'll then mix it together with the skin tones. And like for some reason I can trick my brain into like seeing it better that way. I don't know why. And the reason that works is because usually like the cool colors mixed with the warm colors usually just cancel each other out and kind of desaturate, especially with my palette being limited the way it is. Cool workaround? Yeah, Donley, thanks. I don't know, just trying to work with what my brain wants to do, because that is one of the hard parts, or the hard part about painting. It's like, seeing correctly, not let it, because your brain just wants to fill in information. So actually seeing what is there is very difficult. My go-to to explain this to people is either um either like facial structure, like the way people see an eye and they draw like a representation of an eye and it's not an actual eye. Um and it's not what they actually see. Or my other go-to is the that dress that was a big thing, like a decade ago. The blue and black dress, or the gold and white dress. And that is an example of your brain just filling in, right? Because I take that photo of that dress, and bring it into Photoshop and just do color picking, it's black and blue, without a doubt. Like no question, no options. Like that's what it is. But your brain just goes, okay, I see that. However, I'm going to fill in all this other information that I understand, and now you're going to see it as white and gold. So, Laura Desart says, that's how I saw it. You're going to have to specify. The chat delay makes this aspect of conversing on stream hard. You saw it as gold and white, I assume? So, yeah, that's our brains are crazy that way. Laura says, "Oh shoot, I can't remember now. After I was explained, I could see it both ways." Yeah, so interesting enough, when I first saw it and it was presented to me as a question of like, you know, what is this? I I came at it as very like I was trying to analyze it as soon as I saw it. So I'm like, "Oh, it's clearly a black and blue dress." Um, and Laura says, "Okay, I thought it was white and gold in the shadows, the porch of the porch, um, or the shadows something the porch." Um, so when I first saw it, I'm like, "Okay, clearly black and blue." I'm evaluating it, but then another time I went to look at it and I wasn't really paying much attention. I was just kind of like, I wanted to remember what it was, but I didn't. I wasn't really paying attention, and I saw it as white and gold. So there you go. It you can see it both ways. And the fact I think it's really interesting too, the fact that like the same person can see it in different ways depending on circumstances. I find very interesting. Have you ever seen those TikToks or whatever? They don't have to be TikTok, they could be other, platforms where they they sing a part of a song, uh and they sing the same part multiple times, but they change the caption each time, and it sounds each time it comes, each time it comes up, it sounds like something different because the caption is so close, and your brain just goes, okay, it's clearly this then. It's like it's so I think that stuff's fascinating. Like our brains are amazing and also amazingly stupid. Just in like the functionality, not even an intelligence thing, just a, you know, functionality wise. Donnelly says, I haven't seen specifically the caption thing with the changed lyrics, but that's kind of cool slash scary. Yeah, yeah, I agree. I think it is. It's fun. It's I mean, it's usually very harmless stuff, so whatever, it's fun. And it's always like the lyrics are always like not the clearest, right? It's never when it's like super clear. When it's not clear that our brains are just like default into filling in things. But there's also those magic tricks where they're like, okay, I'm going to show you this object and then show you this object and then talk about this object. Now I want you to think about such and such. And people are like very likely to think of the same thing all the time. So it comes off as a magic trick. I think that those are also really cool. I guess I just kind of like magic tricks, is what I'm getting at. Now that I think about it. You think they, Donnelly says, I think they call that mentalism or something like that. I'm a Magic fan too. Yeah. And yeah, I think you're right. I think it is called mentalism. Although I think it might depend, like the scenario might depend a little. But yeah, I think you're right. Although I saw one of those recently and it was doing that color thing. So it's like, all right, I have I have a green marker and a purple this and at the end you were you're like they tell you to think of a color and you're supposed to think of blue. And so they're like, "Well, think of a color now." And I was like, "Blue." No, red. And then and, and then they answered and I'm like, "Ha ha. I tricked you." It's silliness, but yeah. Which also, now that I think about it, reminds me of the uh, Search for the Holy Grail. Um, oh my God, I can't remember the name. On the bridge of where the guy asks, what's your favorite color?" "Blue, no red." Then he goes flying. Yeah, Monty Python. That's it. Monty Python and the Search for the Holy Grail. Yep. Thought I'd mention him since you're a Magic fan. Mention uh who? Let's see. I think you're gonna have to message that one to me, Don Lee, because I don't think that one went through. And YouTube does not like you. Must have blocked your comment again. Seriously. Chris, you mentioned Chris Ramsey. Okay. I'm not familiar with Chris Ramsey. I'll have to check him out. I asked if I ever watched him. He's a magician that solved outlandish puzzle boxes. Uh, no, I have watched a YouTube channel that focuses on puzzle boxes or what's it called? Um, it's puzzle boxes and like just I guess puzzles in general, like you know, the ones that will like have like a key or something that you have to like get out of. You know, there's like a key in a bottle and you have to like figure out a way to get it out, stuff like that. I watched those channels before. Um, so there there's a YouTube channel I watch. I forget the name, but oh my God. It's like a lock picking channel, and um they teach you how to pick locks on it. Like you can buy stuff to pick locks and so on to learn how to pick locks, which is interesting as a like as an action movie person. I find that interesting. As someone who like likes action movies or spy movies or all that stuff. Like I feel lock picking lawyer, and I don't know if it's that. I'll have to look that up. That sounds good. Um, but the thing I find funny is he'll do videos where it's like, you know, here's a here's a lock that is supposed, they'll show another YouTuber or someone talking about how like with this lock you're so secure, blah blah blah. And he's like, okay. And he picks the lock in like seconds. Half the time he doesn't even have to pick it. He just knows how to like hit them and they fall apart. It's crazy. You're just like, okay, so for, for most people these are barriers. For this guy, it's a joke. Sounds similar? Yeah, it might be the same person. I don't remember the name. But yeah, it's so funny. He's taken those like, the regular like what's it called? It's like you know, the like gold or silver looking just hook locks. I can't remember what they're called. Padlocks or whatever. Yeah, padlocks I think it is. They'll just take them and like take one and hit the other one with it, and they just like pop open half the time. I'm just like, this seems so ineffective. Yeah. Like I know those things aren't the most secure in the world, but like, damn, if everybody knew how to do this, they'd basically be worthless. But I have to admit, I do kind of want to learn how to pick locks. I haven't, like, I haven't bought the stuff for it. I just think it's, I just think it's cool, I guess. Like I said, as someone who's watched a lot of action and spy movies, I'm just like, that would be cool to be able to do theoretically. I feel like it would be one of those things where it's like you think it's going to be super useful, and then the one time you really need it, you end up like not having the tools with you anyway, so it ends up being pointless. Because like I once was locked out of my apartment because turned out it wasn't my fault. The door, the lock mechanism like was damaged and it was just locked out. And I'm just like, that would have been so cool to be able to pick the lock. Having said that, like I probably would have not been able to because it was broken, or like I wouldn't have my tools with me, so it would be pointless. So the utility of it would probably be none. Hello, can you help me, officer? I locked my lock picking stuff in my car. Exactly. Exactly. Like if I ever don't have my keys with me, I probably won't have my lock picks with me. So, exactly. Oh my God, when I was younger, um, like kind of thing, I was in my 20s, um, early 20s, I accidentally locked the keys in my car, uh, twice within a week of each other. Literally I locked it in my car, and then 7 days later, did it again. I have never locked my keys in my car since, ever. It's cat time. I can't. Yeah. Oh, baby boy. Hi. I know what you're looking at up there, but don't go for it. It's just my lights. No, don't go. I'm using you for views because you're prettier than I am. Yeah. Knock, knock, knock. Three times. One, two, three. There we go. Don't jinx myself about knocking myself out. Knock on wood. Maybe a fur cat. Yeah. Dresden. Yeah. How old is Dresden? I think he's 4 now? Or 3, but I think 4 at this point. He's so cute. Let's see. We got him. I think it was 2020, end of 2020. So, anyways, like 5 months old, I think, or something like that. Might be getting it a little wrong, but yeah. So 2021, 2, and 3. So yeah, he's about 3. So much hair. I literally just brushed him a couple hours ago, and already it's like just what was left on me from just this. A friend of yours had a very similar looking cat, super sweet when he was younger, turned into a little poop as he got older. Nah, that's not going to happen in Dresden. He's just super sweet in general. Like his personality has not changed. Um, I would find it. Our, in fact, our other cats only got sweeter over time. Like, um, they became more comfortable and tolerable as we've had them for longer. So I suspect the same thing. They tend to mellow out too, and it can happen. Another thing that happens, this happened to a friend of mine. His cat had it was a outdoor cat. It got injured, and while they could fix it, there was something that was like always there. They couldn't fix it 100%, so basically the cat was like always in pain. Um, Not like a ton of pain, but just like carrying an injury. So he was always crabby. So he was always like in a bad mood. So yeah, always in pain that do it. Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's tough. Like I said, not like suffering. I don't want it to sound like the cat was like severely suffering, but it's enough like to have an injury that you're constantly have an issue with. Yeah. Uh, some Dresden hair made it onto the painting. But I got it off. It was funny. I just ordered new brushes, and I do have other brushes that are new that I haven't used yet. But not all of them are like a good size. Um, but yeah, I was using this one yesterday, and this happened, and obviously I can glue it back on, but like this is not a good this isn't uh good for brushes. You think that's supposed to be a pissed cat emote? Does it translate? Doesn't translate that well. Yeah. Uh, Whoa, it fell apart. Yeah, it did. Unfortunately, it happens, especially with cheaper brushes. I have another brush here. This is a very cheap brush, and I have it taped together because it was falling apart. And I'll be honest, the brush head isn't that great either at this point. Like the very cheap brushes, like very cheap brushes, the bristles really don't last long. They tend to like um you know I don't know if you can see it, but the shape is not that great. Like it, yeah. I will say I'm sure part of it's how I treat my brushes. Like I'm not the best at cleaning them, but still, the very cheap ones just fall apart. But yeah, I have a ton of, not a ton, but I have a bunch of other brushes I bought. But the problem is the sizes. Like I wasn't, I did a poor job of buying them basically. So they're like all over the place size wise. So, but yeah, I made a, decided to buy some rosemary brushes. Also, this way I can see if they live up to the hype, you know? You'd think a cheap brush might be good to make into custom brushes for interesting mark making. Absolutely. Like when dry brushing. Yeah, it can be. Also, you can I have different scissors that you can use to like try and get, unique looking shapes out of your brushes. So, yeah, there are useful aspects to it. Having said that, I I tend towards like I call that kind of the Bob Ross method of painting. And it's not entirely, don't get me wrong, but using, different brushes to make like different marks to like represent certain things. Once again, that's not entirely accurate. Tons of painters do it. It's a valid thing. For certain things, it really is helpful. But it reminds me a lot of Bob Ross and that like formulaic way of painting, which is very much a turnoff for me. Uh, so it makes me not want to paint with it. Do I have any rakes? I do not have any rakes. The only rakes I have are brushes that are dry that I can like lightly, drag them through the paint and it kind of makes a rake. Theoretically, you can paint everything with just a flat square brush, you know. Or if you're doing digital, flat round brush, you can. And it's obviously not always the best, but yeah, especially in digital. But yeah, I can't get like mentally past that like formulaic aspect that like of Bob Ross. And it's messed up because I'll be honest, I am like all four people, painting like Bob Ross or learning having that as an intro into painting. Like I'm not a snob in that way. Like I think it's great. The more people who get into art, the more people who paint, the better. Like for sure. Especially because, the level that you progress to and how you choose to progress is something that will change over time. And of course, the more knowledge you have, you know, what you like will change over time as well. So I think it's good overall. I think everyone like I wish more people got into it. Having said that, I don't like that like systematic way of painting. Um, yeah, I don't know if that makes sense or not. Oh yeah, personally, Conley says, oh, yeah, personally, I'm not thinking of using messed up brushes to make something specifically look like a tree or something. Okay, yeah, yeah. I get what you're saying, a texture thing. I think your comment on digital hit a nail on the head for me. I really learned to appreciate textures and would like to apply that to IRL painting. Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah. Absolutely. And then the other thing too is I did buy a comber brush, which is a brush that has like part of it is like it's an uneven bristles basically. Like some of them there's like a level to it, so it gives like texture. Um, I bought one like that to try out. Um, I've heard different things about it. Like some people love them, some people don't. Like anything. Um, I've never used them, so I didn't buy a bunch, but if I like it a lot, I will definitely be using. I will definitely buy more of them. Uh, you know, so we'll find out. I'll find out for myself, I guess. Um, but yeah, adding in a texture, even if it's nothing specific, can often give um, the illusion of detail, which sometimes is uh, very useful. So yeah, I'm not opposed to it. I just don't want to get that like, okay, so you want to do a tree, grab your fan brush and dab it like this, and you get a tree. you know, that type of thing. My computer was doing something. But yeah, I think that's useful. Also, like certain things like, you know, grass and stuff like that, it's often useful to have like something that gives you a, like, you know, overlays and random textures in it, even if it's not like grass texture, you know, which is fine. Having said that, is it Mike? He paints with gouache. Mike Gouache. Jeez, I can't remember. He paints with gouache, but I've seen him do some digital paintings where he used just a square brush, flat brush, and he can make fantastic paintings just with that. Having said that, there are limitations because they look better at a distance than close up, but you know, it is what it is. Hey Laura. Uh, Laura says I use very few brushes in digital most of the time, and very few layers, hardly any. Uh, well, I when first started in digital, I used a lot. But now when I paint digitally, I basically paint on one layer and I just duplicate it so that I can save progress for just in case kind of thing. Um, yeah. So I'm with you on that one. Um, Same with brushes. I don't tend to use a lot of brushes unless there's, you know, so every once in a while there'll be something very, very specific that I'm like, okay, I want that. Only when I paint, I use a wide variety of brushes, even 3 or 4 inch house painting brushes. Oh, that comment was painting IRL. Yeah, though you start large. Right. Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah. It's good to start. It's definitely good to start large, block in everything, and then work your way down. It's that's a very good. I think that's a very good approach for most people. You know, exceptions be what they are. Um, yeah. They say, and Laura says they say you should use the biggest brush you can. Correct. Uh, I I agree with that. Um, you know, it's one of those things. It's no rule is 100%. But yes, overall I agree with that sentiment because it it makes the painting um more structurally sound in my experience. And it also prevents you from getting lost in the details. There's an artist, uh, oh, his name is, I'm gonna mess up one of his names. It's like something Mitchlap. Um, he works in VizDev. Um, God damn, I can't believe I'm messing up his name. Anyways, I went to one of his workshops once, and he will do paintings, um, concept paintings for work, and it's like he will start them out with a brush that is like they're just thumbnails and stuff. So the, he'll start them out with a brush that's like a quarter the size of the whole canvas, and it's crazy. Sam Mitchlap. That's his name. Definitely. Yeah, so it's usually like landscapes or environments. And these are thumbnails. So he's doing, he's working on something that's like this big, and his brush is like a square, but it's like that big. And he'll like color it in and then put in like some basic colors, and he will use the like block in and cut into it a bit. And because it's digital, he can, you know, he can go outside the canvas and get like edges and stuff like that a little. But yeah, it's just like a quick, put it in real quick kind of thing. He um he also does a lot of photo bashing now. Uh Even though he doesn't like it that much, uh according to the workshop I went to, but it's a big part of the industry that he works in now. He did all of, I don't know if all, he was like one of the main designers on Guardians of the Galaxy 2. So the one where they went to that like that planet of you know, um yeah, so he designed all of that stuff. Um but it's funny because he's also like he's a really good oil painter, but you don't see his oil paintings that much. They're not as prevalent, you know, online and stuff. But oh my God, he is so good. Um, his subject matter is not my favorite for oil paints. Like he likes trains. He has a lot of paintings of like trains or train stations with trains. Not exactly my like go-to interest, but they're so good, you know. Um, Obviously doesn't have to be your main interest to like be good, but yeah, um, such a good painter. I just mention it because like you know online you'll see his dev work and stuff like that, and it but like yeah, that's you know that's only part of it. Sam Mitchlap, yep, that's right. He goes to like he used to go to CTN. I don't know if he still does, but I think I've also seen him go to Lightbox and other conventions. So, you know, super nice guy. Uh, yeah, great artist, super nice guy. I don't know what else to say. It's all I got. But uh, worth worth meeting and taking a workshop with, I'd say, if uh, if he'll be where you are. It's approaching 1 a.m., so I'm going to hit the hay. Hope you guys have a good night. Hey, Laura, no problem. Have a good night. Thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate uh, I appreciate it. I will be streaming on Sunday, so just FYI, I will be streaming on Sunday uh, during the day. So if you know time zones work out better for you that way, and you happen to not be busy, it'd be great. Um, have a good night, and catch you next time. Oh, and Don Lee is going to be streaming tomorrow for anyone who is watching but not reading chat. And to anyone who is watching this after the fact, that would be Thursday. Don Lee will be streaming Thursday. I'm not going to be streaming for much longer today. Two hours and 40. It's almost 11. So yeah, I'm also heading towards the end of the night. Um There were some things I wish I'd gotten to, but it's all right. Like I said, I mean, this is really, at this point, if you're looking at the like red marks, you can see there's not much left, right? These ones need to be covered up slightly, maybe. I might leave them. I don't mind peeking through. There's like a little here, a little bit here, and then their faces. And I might not do their faces on stream only because I might have to be like this to actually paint their faces. And this isn't exactly like a great camera view. So I might end up doing that not on stream. Donley, on an unrelated note to any of this, oh, hold on a second. Donley says just make sure you use a little extra shampoo before stream so we can appreciate your follicles, right? Like you all are going to get to see all my dandruff. Um, yeah. I'm gonna say, oh yeah, unrelated note, I beat the Nameless King in Dark Souls 3. Yeah, so um I haven't beat the game yet. Um I'm I beat one of the DLCs. I'm working on the second DLC right now. I'm like halfway through, I think. But the supposedly hardest boss, or one of the hardest bosses, um did I did finish. Thank you, Downley. Yeah. Like I said, I haven't quite finished the game yet, but um I feel like I don't feel like the final boss is going to give me too hard of a time if I could get the other, other bosses kind of thing. Yeah, it's a fun game. I do have some issues with it. Like I can definitely see how uh like Elden Ring is more of a mature game. I wouldn't mind giving DS3 another shot, but but it was the first DS game I ever picked up, rented it, got my butt handed to me. Yeah. However, you've watched Twitch a lot now and think you do a lot better. Yeah. Um, I could absolutely see that. I will say this, like as someone who's, played a bunch of Elden Ring and Dark Souls 3 and is new to Dark Souls 3, I should say. I can definitely see how like Elden Ring is a way more like refined and well put together game. That's not to say that it's a better game necessarily, but like for someone who is new to it and isn't familiar, like it's a lot clearer. Elden Ring's just a lot easier to understand. And Dark Souls 3 is not easy to understand. Only says, especially since I've beaten Bloodborne several times now. I wish I could play Bloodborne. Yeah. Um, yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about Bloodborne. Um, but yeah, the Dark Souls 3 is just it is there's a lot of things in the game that like just are not clear at all. And I think that is definitely something that they've gotten better at over time throughout their games. Like I said, that's not to say that it's a worse game. It's just the like ability to understand it for a new user is what I'm kind of addressing. Like I might like there's a slight chance I might do a new game plus with Dark Souls 3. Um just because there are several things my understanding that are slightly different, but uh that's a very much a maybe, not a definite, because there are certain things that like I would want to get in the game, but um they're too hard to get because like for one, like there's some things that I want that you have to win like 40 invasions to get it. And it's like, yeah, that's not going to happen anytime soon. The invasions are so busted. It's so unpleasant to do. So stuff like that where I'm just like, yeah, I don't know. But as a like a one-time run through, it's definitely fun. I would catch it on sale if you can, especially if you like Bloodborne, since they are, so like related. Oh my God, though, the invasion stuff is so busted. It's just full of people for the most part who have been doing this for like years at this point. And yeah, it's really busted. Like it's not just people who have been doing this for years, but it's like you go in and you're expecting one thing. Like there's certain characters you're supposed to fight, and then the other characters that you're not supposed to fight, and then those guys end up being friends, so they start clowning on you, and you're just like, well, man, this is not what it's meant to be. This is kind of not the point of this. So, okay. Okay, I am making this hand way, way too dark. I don't know. I think I know what it is. I'm trying to get the shape right, and I am too tired. And my brain is like just struggling now with it. All right. I think I'm going to be calling it a night. I'm like I can feel so with the arm, I can feel that like because I'm trying to get the shapes right and I'm tired, I can't I can't keep both things in my head at the same time. Like the shapes and colors and values all at once are just it's just too much. I'm just too tired apparently. So I will be calling it a night for this. It's almost 11 anyways, so good stream otherwise, other than a minor mishap. Yep, good time to call it a night. Yeah, absolutely. Um, but yeah. Um, next stream is on Sunday. I'll post exact time. I'm thinking like noon, uh, Central Time, something like that. Um, yeah. Thank you everybody for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. Don Lee, streaming on Thursday. Check him out on Twitch, Don Leo. Um, Laura, Cody, Kitty, it was good seeing you. Everybody who came by and all the people who are lurking, you know, thank you so much for watching. And yeah, call it a day for tonight. Have a good one.